to My Mother Has Tourette's podcast. This week on My Mother Has Tourette's podcast, we have an interesting fun fact. One of our mothers fell all the way down a flight of stairs, specifically on her bottom. Just the entire, completely on the butt. Didn't rotate, although it would have been funnier if she rolled, in my opinion. But that is the greatest mom fact, in my opinion, so far. In my opinion,
Nathan.
Yeah.
And I'm Josh.
And I'm gonna be Andrew this week. Speaking of this week, how was everyone's week? Did anyone do anything fun, new, or exciting? Let's start with Josh. We'll pick somebody.
Oh, we're going to start with me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got a list. That I had to write them down in my notes because a lot's happened today. So,
Okay.
all right. So, where do I start? So, my dad and stepmom came over today, and my wife made homemade lasagna. And in the midst of finishing up, my dad proceeded to tell me a story. They have these two little dogs. Okay. They're like this big. And I fidget, so this is what I'm fidgeting with right now while we do this.
Bro.
So he goes, yeah, our dog wasn't feeling good the other day. I'm like, oh, that sucks. And he was like, no matter what we put in front of him, he wouldn't eat dog food, turkey, anything. And he said the dog was sitting on the armrest of the couch and all of a sudden passed a little gas.
Nope.
While the dog and my dad and my stepmom didn't realize that not only did it pass a little gas, it shot a little bit of Hershey syrup.
Just a little bit of poo.
So they had to wipe and clean off the armrest of the couch. And lo and behold, the dog was feeling better and started eating again.
That's wonderful.
So
pooping makes everything better. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, but it's gross at the same time, you know?
It's one of those things where if you ever do that alongside anything else, it is disgusting, but it's probably excellent as well. For example, I would never eat a bowl of cereal and poop at the same time, but I could imagine the relief and the shoving food in my mouth would feel probably pretty good. But I don't want the poop particles to contaminate the cereal, so I'd never do it.
Just don't eat cereal while driving.
What's it called? A Poseidon's Kiss?
Never heard of that one.
So a Poseidon's Kiss is when it hits the toilet water and it goes and kisses the butt cheek.
I just call that a backsplash, but that's fair. I like that term.
All right, so after dinner, my wife is making this awesome peach cake, and she went to pull. I don't know where it was in the oven, but she pulled this rack out. And she goes, "Are you missing a pair of sunglasses?" I said, "I don't. Why?" "Well, I guess at some point my son decided it'd be cool to put my sunglasses in the oven and bake them directly onto a wire rack." Hence the awesome picture that I sent you guys.
I was trying to figure out what that was.
So I had to throw those away.
There are some.
Your son made it for you.
Some small joys to not having kids yet.
Amen, brother.
And what else did I do this week? I got into woodworking. I bought a table saw. And first project, I built 2 birdhouses as asked to by my wife. And that's also the other pictures I sent you. I made those by hand. I cut the wood and nailed them together and everything. So pretty excited about it.
I have a question that is somewhat legitimate, but also kind of funny to ask. Are you sure that you don't have a form of ADHD with the amount of hyperfixations that you go through?
Am I sure? No. My wife and I were talking about it the other day. We think we've got something going on.
I was going to say, because the both of you, I could see her too, but I definitely, having known you longer, that I've seen you just kind of go really hyper stimulate yourself on one topic or interest that you have at the time, then you drop it like a hot potato and move on to something else.
I don't want to drop it. It's very expensive.
To have ADHD.
Oh, true. Yeah. Yes, it is very
True.
expensive to have ADHD where you hyperfix on things and drop it like a hot potato. But I don't really know of things that I've just dropped. I mean, I'm still everything that I've tried to start, I'm still in, like football, this podcast, the woodworking,
Diapers.
you know. Yeah, we're running out of diapers, so if you want to donate to the podcast,
I could have swore Nathan said snipers. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
if you're watching this and you see a little glint behind us, just know we love you and we'll miss you.
You can't kill our 2 fans, man. It's not okay.
Yeah, no, I meant like us. Like if they see the
Through the
little
screen.
like above my head, where like that sniper.
Oh,
sniper
okay,
glint.
gotcha. Yeah, take us out. That's fine. Not our viewer.
Hey, Josh, those are stars.
Not Steven.
What?
It's not sniper glints.
Stars look the same as sniper glint. They're bright, and then you just don't see them anymore.
If that's
You're going
the
to be
case,
seeing
Nathan
stars.
is in real trouble over there.
They're all aimed right
Those
at
are just
me.
all. Those are all just his fans taking pictures of him.
Well, some of those are eyes.
Oh, a beholder.
What can you do?
But behold, I'm excited to get into woodworking.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
You better keep us updated with stuff you make.
Oh, I will. So I want to do it. I want to start making furniture out of pallets.
Those are
And
cool.
you can get a lot of pallets for free.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of videos this week of people turning stuff from pallets into this beautiful. Some dude made a kitchen table out of recycled skateboards, and you would never have thought that it was made out of.
Yeah,
skateboards.
pallet furniture is cool.
Yeah, so I want to do that because if you mess up, you have a lot of wood you can still work with, and
Rustic.
you're not buying lumber. And
I feel like this should be a new topic once it gets started. It'll just be like Josh's hyperfixation of the month. And so we'll have like a little woodworking section for like a month and a half, and then it'll turn into like, man, I started making my own minis in D&D and painting them, and then it'll be just everything everywhere. It'll be hilarious.
I don't know if I'd get into paintings.
I actually have one friend that I do play D&D with. It's so funny. I wish I could remember what the topic was, but it was something that she definitely could not do, like at all. For example, I'll just say it's building furniture as the example.
She could not, or she should not.
Could not, like that. Not that you. She was trying to do a skilled trade. That much I remember. She thought she could just pick it up and do it. So, for example, we'll just say woodworking or furniture making. She was trying to make furniture, and her defense was, well, I watched a 30-minute YouTube on how to do it once, so I could definitely do it. And her husband looks at her, he's like, you watched a YouTube video on it? A 30-minute YouTube video? You can't hold your attention that long. She's like, listen, I skimmed through it. It'll be fine. I can do this. And I'm like, yep, that definitely sounds like Josh.
I have way more than just 30 minutes in YouTube. So I've probably got a couple hours of furniture making videos I've watched. So I'm at least a little bit more ahead.
Beautiful.
Well, anyways, do you have anything else that happened this week, or are we moving on to old Nathan?
Curious about how Nathan's week was.
It's Andrew's turn.
Nice.
Clockwise, baby.
No, son. Andrew started us out. It's your turn.
Oh, he brought out the sun.
He did bring out the sun. Hold on. My week was fine. I sat alone in this basement and didn't do a whole lot. Just I've been working on my tiniest violin. Was that what? Okay.
Do me a favor. Say sat alone in the basement again.
Sat alone in the basement again. Oh.
Poor guy.
So yeah, I've just been looking for programming job. I'd like to get started with my first programming job, so I've been focused a lot on that. and I've been working on my portfolio website and such.
Anything coming from it?
I can't stop
Any
yawning.
leads?
Sort of. I mean, I have a dude on Facebook that I gave my resume to and everything, but that's a
Let's go,
whole
dude, on Facebook.
process. Yep. And
What about UPS?
yeah, I mean that's like I'm waiting for them to post their job job posting up. It's supposed to be sometime this month. So I'm
Listen, man, that's 6 figures for a UPS driver. I'm all about it. I might switch positions.
6 figures for UPS driver. I don't know about that.
Oh, I'll have to send you a link. There's been a whole uproar about their raising the prices, and they're making like anywhere between
They're
like
at 49 an hour.
96, yeah, 96 to like 140K a year. It's crazy.
UPS drivers?
Yeah,
In what
UPS drivers
states?
are in the position.
I'm at 20,
I'll move there. I don't know.
I'm at 26 an hour, and I'm on track to make over 100 a year. So if they're making 49, it's not going to be hard for them to do that.
I guess it also depends on how many hours you're working, because Josh, you work
That's
way
fair.
too much.
I only work like 63 to 70.
That's way too much. Yeah, I don't know, man. My week's been pretty boring. I feel like I'm just bad at talking about myself, so that is also a thing, because Josh is like, yeah, I woke up and I had a smile on my face, and I'm gonna write that down and talk about it on the podcast. Yeah, but like I don't always think I need to get better at writing down like even just mundane things that happen, so I have something more to talk about at this part of the podcast. But yeah, we've been trying to eat healthier, but we're currently living with my wife's family, and that's not like super easy.
That makes things difficult. Sure.
Yes.
Oh yeah, just pull out the easy card and blame it all on them.
I mean, I have to right now. It's been rough, but we're trying. Yeah. Not a lot happened this week though. We've been chilling. We've been enjoying time off when we can.
Like a villain.
Yes, sure. I love your little. I can't stop yawning. This is gonna kill me. I love your little trinket in your beard there.
Yeah, beautiful.
Josh, how long have you been growing out your beard?
3 years after the church shaved it all off for like $500.
I remember that. Oh wow.
That was great.
Yeah, that's a good story. Because this has been like the majority of this year so far. I think pretty much since January, and yours is like past Gandalf level.
Well, here's my nipples, so it's slower than my
Thank you
nipples.
for that. Thank you for that.
And that's with
Make sure we put graphics there so we remember.
Put like two little Steve Harvey faces. Okay.
Yeah.
So Andrew, what's been going on? How's your week?
My week was all right. I don't think I've done anything different. Let's see. Yeah, no, I haven't. Nothing was eventful. I just kind of stayed home, worked, and I went to the grocery store once, and that was really about it. I didn't do a whole lot of anything.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels like they don't have a lot to talk about.
What
Josh
did
is
you go to
over
the
here
grocery
so
store
much.
for?
Hold on. Get this.
Is
For
there ranch
groceries.
involved?
No, there's no ranch involved. I had plenty of ranch.
Did you make a meal out of the groceries you went and got?
A few, yeah, because I had to get enough at least, for a week or two. So I made food. So I survived. I made it to today. So
Were these meals good enough to be talked about?
no,
Hmm.
they weren't, unfortunately.
Did you at least
since you're
season
gonna
your
pull
chicken?
my, well, yes, I don't unseason my food. I'm not an uncultured swine.
So I just want to say I have a story that I'm going to tell, but to preface, this happened in Minecraft. Okay, so years
Good old
ago,
Libraries in Minecraft.
years ago in
Me neither.
Minecraft, on a specific campus that my went to, and I'm sure you guys are aware what this campus is. Maybe Josh
is not.
doesn't?
We'll fill you in later.
Yeah, it's fine. I was visiting
Minecraft campus is
my
there.
and my in Minecraft, on their the campus that they were going to school at. Yeah, okay, it clicked. And
There it is.
we were just chilling, doing what we do, hanging out. And that night we actually, I might be conflating 2 times, but like we went out
I
and like,
was
huh.
I initially was thinking the cult that you, Joel, and Anthony went to.
Okay, you just got yourself on a completely different train. You got on the wrong train. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, that makes sense. So,
But we're back at the station, heading the right way.
yeah, we turned that train around. I don't know how, but it just worked
Choo
out that way.
choo.
Choo, choo, choo. And so essentially, sometime that night, I don't know who came up with the idea, but let's say it was my and 2 other guys that they were friends with on campus. We all decided it would be a fun idea in Minecraft to break into the school library and use lockpicks to unlock the door and go in. And then just like we in Minecraft went around through the building and we just like explored and picked whatever doors open that we could. And this eventually led to us going up some stairs because I think part of the reason they wanted to do it in the first place is because it's a real tall building. There's a part of it with like an actual bell, like an old bell, like a huge, big old bell. That I don't know if it's still like they still use it or not in Minecraft, but essentially we went to this room that it was a real tall room. It was like maybe on the second floor or something like that, and there was a hole in the ceiling, and there was a hole in the wall. In the hole in the wall, if you opened it up, there was a ladder you could pull out, and then put that ladder against the hole in the ceiling and climb up. And this was a tall room, like I'm saying, like it was like a 20-rung ladder or something like that. And remember, this all happened in Minecraft when we were just playing together one day. But we climbed that ladder, and actually at that point, okay, so I'm going to back up a little bit because the whole reason I thought of this story is because you brought up ranch. So had brought some food along because he was hungry and he hadn't eaten dinner before. And this was night; it was like dark time outside, and he brought some food along and like a bottle of ranch. It was like a sandwich, and he was just like he was sitting in the corner in the dark one time while we were like picking some locks and in Minecraft, and he just started like he was just eating a sandwich because he was hungry. And so he like set the ranch down on the table in that room, and then we all climbed up and said, "Sorry boys, it's time for me to head out." And he went back to the dorm, and so the rest of us did this. So we climbed up into that room above that room, and then there was another ladder in there that was ricketier and scarier, and we climbed that, which then took us into this huge room with the bell tower. And there was like this huge wooden frame that it was attached to and everything, and we were in Minecraft just like walking along there, and there was a final ladder in that room, and I think we actually wrote on the wooden like frame there like our names, which was probably stupid. And then we climbed the final ladder and got on the roof. We were real high, we could see really far and everything. But, like I said, this is me, the other 2 guys had left, and so we had a great time in Minecraft. And we knew it was stupid to do in the first place, but we did it. So we ended up leaving, climbed down all those ladders. We had taken some pictures and stuff, and I recorded some videos too in Minecraft, and
You mean screenshots?
Yeah, I mean, of course. And so we put everything back the way we had found it. We locked every lock that we unlocked. We left. We were walking away, all proud of ourselves that we had pulled off the greatest heist in our time without taking anything, of course. But we're walking along the street, heading back to the dorm, and out of nowhere goes, "The ranch!" We covered
there, huh?
all of our tracks so perfectly, and Chris left a bottle of ranch in the middle of this admin room in the building in the library.
Beautiful. I hope it's still there, and it's kind of disgusting right now.
So I just want to answer what everybody's probably thinking right now. On Nathan's Minecraft server, lockpicking is very easy. You just need a lot of redstone.
You don't use red. You just use lockpicks. What do you? Just
Oh,
listen, man.
my
Listen,
bad.
man.
See, the one I was on, you have to use redstone. And it's
Oh, that
complicated,
makes
but
sense.
yeah,
okay,
so-
it's a different kind of different kind of
Yeah.
system altogether. Those are electronic locks,
That makes sense.
redstonic locks. And so yeah, it was just about
Fun
some fun
Yeah.
adventures I had in Minecraft a few years ago. What's up?
Yeah, I was going to say, fun fact about Ranch. It's actually an anagram for gaming news, which is the next part that we're going to right now.
So yeah, what's up, everybody? We're doing some gaming news this week, and like we do every week, and we're starting off talking about a little bit of Final Fantasy. I've never played a single Final Fantasy game, but I've heard they're good. I've heard lots of people like them. They've been going on now for a real long time, and it looks like Final Fantasy 16 came out June of this year, as I'm sure many of you are aware. Guess what? Final Fantasy heads, it's getting 2, not just 1, but 2 DLC expansions. If you are somehow not aware what DLC stands for, it's downloadable content. So Final Fantasy 16 is getting 2 DLC expansions, and its PC port is officially in development. So, basically, this was to be honest, I don't know if it's just on console, if it's like console exclusive to one specific console, whatever. But they are doing a PC port, and they're adding more to the game. They're adding some DLC. It is paid DLC, like I said, so pull out your wallet. And you are ready with that Discord soundboard. All right. So
I'm trying.
yeah, man. That's pretty cool for those who are into Final Fantasy, and those who have been waiting for being able to play it on PC. That is going to be happening. Also, apparently a free update for the game is also going to be coming as well. What's up, Josh?
I just wanted to let you know I still can't remember what I was going to ask.
I believe you. And so it looks like, it's PS5 timed console exclusive for 6 months, or at least 6 months from June when it came out. So I'm not exactly sure how the whole thing works, but basically then it's going to eventually should come to Xbox as well. So that's a thing. Gaming news. Well, does anyone want to talk about that? No Final Fantasy heads in here.
I love Final Fantasy, but I haven't played the newest one, so I'm going to stay.
I've never played it.
back
I'm still
until
trying
I
to
play.
remember what I was going to ask you.
Fair enough. So this next one is pretty funny. I don't know if anyone's aware, but okay, let's think about this for 1 second. Mario. The land, Super Mario Land, Super Mario World, all the characters in it, Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, Bowser, Peach, all these fellas and lady fellas in the Super Mario World. Okay, who do you think would be considered to be the most unfriendly and like the most evil? This is a serious question for you guys.
Bowser.
Probably.
Okay, who else? What are some other
Maybe
ones?
Wario. Yeah, Wario's pretty nasty.
And Waluigi. Waluigi's like not really meant to be a good guy. He's just the best.
Yeah, you're right.
Peach.
Peach
fun fact that we can touch on later. Waluigi is canonically the strongest Mario character there is.
I believe you.
Pure physical strength.
I don't know why. I don't know the statistics behind this, but I believe you, and that makes me very happy. So, this article is titled "Luigi is canonically kind of a jerk," based on data from Mario Superstar Baseball.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. I love the little. Thank you. So, Luigi. So Mario Superstar Baseball. They had some statistic for all of the different characters in the game. They called it chemistry. And that it's like a statistical marker that shows how well the characters get along with other people on the team. So, Bowser is like 51.483 points. Wario is 48.419 points. Waluigi is like just under that. So Waluigi is supposedly like the lowest. Bowser is not that far from those two. Luigi is like 5 points ahead of Bowser. He's one of the lowest in the game. And this has been essentially an average of all the chemistry stats extracted from the code. Luigi is supposedly canonically gets along with the rest of the people, the rest of the characters in Super Mario, at least in Super Mario Superstar Baseball, very poorly. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I would have to say that I don't think that would make Luigi evil. I think that makes him an introvert amongst the main cast. I think he's probably just like I'll let my brother take the spotlight. You guys do what you want. I really don't want to be here, but I do support my brother in everything I do.
Thank you. This is why I like you, Andrew. Because
Thank you.
I think I think the person writing this article just wanted to write a funny article about Luigi based on that statistic. Because I mean, we have to back up and say, I don't know if anybody is aware of that meme, the Luigi death stare meme in the Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U from 2014, where he when basically throws a shell at an enemy and it like knocks them and they like hit the ground and like he passes them. It does this slow motion shot. Exactly. I don't even have to do it. Andrew just did it. Luigi will just death stare them as he drives on by them. So that is one thing that is leading me to believe this article, but at the same time, introverts might not do so well getting along with the rest of the cast because it's just like, if they're not homies, they're not all like friends, they're just kind of like people that he's adjacent to in his life. He might not have much chemistry with them because a lot of times like super introverted people have like a few people they like to be around, talk to, stuff like that, and they like to spend their time alone or with just a few people. And so maybe if that's Mario, I don't know who else in the cast would he really enjoy like spending time with. Maybe Peach is chill. Like he's like, yeah, this is my brother's girlfriend. She's cool. I'll hang out with her.
Peach isn't chill. She's always getting abducted on purpose.
On
Like
purpose?
I feel like she's
Hold
behind it. Like that's the premise of the whole series. She's like, "Oh, I'm taken by Bowser. Come help me."
Oh, Bowser! Oh, I'm not over here. Don't come. Kidnap
Yeah, she's
me.
probably
Sorry
calling
about
Bowser
that.
up like, "Yo, come pick me up."
We're gonna make my boyfriend come save me again. This is the only joy I have in my life.
Like, what if she's trying to actually murder Mario? And so she's like, Bowser, come get me, and make Mario think that I've been abducted. And then the whole process of Mario trying to come rescue her, he gets killed. And like, she didn't do anything wrong.
We're getting.
Listen,
This is a conspiracy theory podcast.
Yeah, for sure. I was just gonna say that's my my local crackpot theory about the Nintendo verse was actually the fact that Peach is evil, and it's the kind of evil that like a girlfriend who wants too much attention is kind of evil.
Oof.
I feel like she's with Mario and she gets really dissatisfied after a while because Mario's a plumber. You know, he just lives a 9 to 5. He don't do nothing crazy. You know, up until he has to save her.
Tired of that,
and
butt crack.
That's it. She's just like, you know what? Mario is boring. Bowser might be an evil guy, but he's like exciting. So she calls up Bowser, ring ring on the Koopa phones, just like, hey man, it'd be nice if we had dinner. And Bowser's probably just over there like, aren't you with Mario? And she's like, no, we broke up again. And he's like, all right, well, you know what? I'm hungry. I'm a big Koopa Troopa. Let's have some dinner. Brings her over for dinner. As soon as she's over there and he closes the door, because I mean, he lives in a pretty intimidating looking castle. Closes those gates. All she has to do is ring ring Mario. Oh no, I'm captured again. I need help. And so Bowser's just there like cooking up, going chef mode, making food for Peach. He goes, serves it to her in his like castle that's all gloom and doom looking. So it looks like he's just giving her food to make sure she doesn't die. And then here comes Mario, and Bowser's like, "Listen, stop this! I'm going to like come fight you because you just enter my home, kill my servants, just jumping on their heads and throwing their shells in freaking lava, and I'm just trying to have a date." And then he's just like, you know, Mario's a man of few words. He's all about the action. And he just goes, let you go. And just, there he goes. And then Peach is like, oh, Mario, you're the best. After she makes him work 65 different castles to go through. You can't tell me that she just keeps traveling to new ones. She likes the attention.
Oh,
And
I give you the wrong directions. You got to go to this castle. I'm over here.
This dude had to take off work to go rescue her, and she did this on purpose. And then he goes back to his 9 to 5, and then it happens all over again.
Somehow he still has a job, because I can't imagine he does like 16 castles in a day. And I can guarantee you she's not considered enough to at least do it on the weekends when he has off. That's just a whole different story in itself.
And I guarantee you, once she gets rescued, she's super ungrateful. Like, it took you this long to come pick me up.
I can't believe
you're still wearing your work uniform.
That's right. You didn't consider yourself enough. You know what, Mario? Just shave the mustache. Make sure she doesn't recognize you, and drop Peach like a hot potato. We're sticking.
You brought your brother along. You know I can't stand him.
And that's why Luigi. That's why Luigi's in the red. That's how he became an introvert. He was just trying to help his brother.
He's the third wheel, and he's tired of being the third wheel, and now he's fighting back.
Luigi understands the feeling. Luigi just became my favorite Nintendo character. Good call.
This is
Luigi's always there to help Mario, but what's he get out of it? You know, like Peach isn't going to thank him. Peach don't like him. You know, maybe
time off.
He's figuring Peach out and it's like, yo, like this is the third time you've been captured. Maybe this isn't real. You know,
and then
like
after
maybe
a long
and Bowser's
day, being second to Mario, he has to go home to his lonely mansion by himself and face all his demons and phantoms. It's sad.
And that's how Luigi's Mansion happens. It's all fake. It's in Luigi's mind. That's incredible.
Because he's mentally ill, and it's sad. Mario's mentally ill on the other side of the spectrum.
And it all comes back because it's Peach's fault.
Yeah. Down with Peach! Down with Peach!
Yeah.
Cancel culture. Let's cancel Peach.
Our third gaming news article is about Starfield, which is a game by Bethesda. Wow, one of them that has come out recently. And Starfield is, for those who aren't aware of Bethesda, just listen, I'm going to say one word. Skyrim. Okay, now you are. They're the ones who made Skyrim. So Starfield is like a sci-fi game. I don't know a lot about it, to be honest. So, sorry,
Skyrim
my bad. But yeah, sure, we'll call it Skyrim in space. I'm down with that. And so essentially, when Starfield came out, which was like a few days ago, I guess there was... Starfield had been delayed and pushed back for a while, like from March this year all the way to September, which, like I said, it just came out. There was a fan by the name of Alex Hay who was super excited. Like, he was really, I guess, vocal on Twitter and whatever, and like he had talked on... Well, I guess he was... What's sad is he was terminally ill with cancer, and he was like really looking forward to it coming out in March because he's a huge Bethesda fan, huge fan in general of like Starfield and like what it was turning out to be and everything. And so he had gone on like the game subreddit, I guess, to express his disappointment whenever it was pushed back from March to September, and I guess he recently passed away before it came out, which is super sad. And really, Bethesda's cool in that it's like, there's nothing they could do. The game wasn't ready. They couldn't just bring it out early for one fan, so it's just sad in general because poor guy didn't get to play it. But they put a tribute in the game to Alex Hay, and it was just a small little tribute, but it was a nice gesture for them. And so I guess it looks like as reported by PC Gamer, Redditor Hunter World posted on the Starfield subreddit their discovery of Alex Hay's note, which says, "To all my friends and fellow explorers, I am always with you out there in the Starfield. Love always, Alex Hay." So, yeah, that's about it.
You know, it might be a little small memorial, or I don't know if I would call it a memorial, but like for them to go out of their way to include somebody who is so interested in playing this game and just didn't get the opportunity. I mean, I don't think it's small. It takes a lot for a video game company because I feel like Call of Duty just comes out. No matter how many people buy it or don't like it or talk trash about it, there's always going to be another Call of Duty coming out. And they just don't care because they know they're going to make the money. And Bethesda makes some pretty big games.
Yeah.
And for them to like know that there was one person out there who was like waiting and waiting for this game, and they didn't get the opportunity, for them to care to like take the time to pay whoever's job it was to put that in the game, like that should speak a little bit.
Yeah,
you know,
it was
for
like
them
it
to-
was
for them to do that.
like a small gesture, a small addition with a lot of meaning behind it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Agreed.
And yeah, so that's I mean that's basically it. They had at least honored him in a way, since he never got to play the game and he passed away before it came out. But it's pretty cool of them, and that's also the end of gaming news. On that somber note.
Well,
Oof.
So, anyways, I believe next we would run into what our gameplay was like this week.
Hold up.
Josh,
Hold up.
no snacking on
No
the bus.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Josh, we've talked
Well,
about this.
I was hoping
We've
there was
not
gonna
talked
be a
about this,
pause.
however.
The only pause was moving the Pop Tart to your mouth, you bum.
It's not a Pop Tart, it's a cookies and cream brownie from Little Debbie.
Oh, it looked like a Pop-Tart. Like, I would have bet money that was a Pop-Tart.
I could have swore it was a Pop Tart.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
See, yeah,
Interesting.
nice.
Little Debbie be hitting me
Wow.
with that little diabetes.
Little diabetes.
My dad's got a gold tooth.
My dad has diabetes. Oh man.
I
So,
love it.
how much did you play this week, Josh?
I didn't
If at
play any
all.
this week because I played so much last week that I just rolled it over.
I respect
That's fair.
that.
You did have a
because Andrew
spare
needed to
66
kinda...
hours. Yeah.
Listen, I
catch up a little
texted
bit.
Nathan. Here's the funny part. Not last week, but the week before, Andrew's like, I played 8 hours straight. I got through so much. You know, I bulldozed this. And I'm like, I played for an hour. And then the very next week, it was, I played for 8 hours and Andrew played for an hour.
No, Andrew
So
played
I
for
gotta
4
go.
hours and got nowhere.
Yes, what you have to do is go back and listen to the podcast, because every time I say that I played for an extreme amount of time, it's always because I'm too stubborn to move on from where I'm at. I don't get very far. For example, I probably played for about 4 hours this week. I only completed 3 more levels in World B. Same idea. There wasn't a lot that happened, at least in my playthrough. I know you didn't play, Josh, but I just played those 3 worlds, got the puzzles done, and I don't know. They weren't that difficult, but they just...
Did you
I got
unlock
bored with it this
anything?
week.
Because I know I unlocked a new puzzle device. I don't know what we call them.
Yeah, the only thing I unlocked was the like hologram recordings of you.
Yes. Okay.
That's,
Yeah.
I did get that done.
Did
And
you
that,
use it at all, or did you just unlock it?
yeah, I used it. It was, I want to say World 4, it didn't really have to do with any of the puzzles in there. And World 3, I think I used it a lot. But
Well, that's one of my notes from last week. Is I figured out what the blue things are because we unlocked the machine
Yeah.
that records them.
Cease.
I think it adds a whole different perspective to the game now because
Yeah.
there's one puzzle that
Mhm.
took a while. I don't remember which. Have you done the puzzle when you walk in? The piece is over here, and there's like 1, 2. It's like 3 or 4 of the blue force fields with
Mhm.
pressure plates, and then there's like a fan piece over here with a force field and a pressure plate. Have you done that one yet?
I don't think so. It doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, that one you have to use the recording for it. It took me a while because like the things you have to do, because like some places you can just record and go move the pieces and whatever, and then end the recording, and then you can follow your dude around. But then there's some times where you actually have to set the pieces up as your normal self,
Hmm.
then go hit the recording, remove all the pieces, wait a substantial amount of time so your recording like does whatever it needs to do, and then end the recording, and then while your recording's doing it, you got to retake the pieces and follow him around because it's like if you put a box on the ground and you go to do the recording and your recording picks up the box, your recording can actually place that box on the pedestal, like the pressure plate, and it activates it. So then, but when he picks up the box, that box is still there physically for you. So now you kind of have like two boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And like
cool.
there's so much to it.
It adds a lot
It
of
just
depth.
it's crazy.
Complexity. Yeah, I want to ask, did either of you ever find the one hidden? It's sort of hidden. I mean, you can't find it. You have to explore to find it. Terminal, computer PC terminal, in the, I don't know what you call it, the outer world, but like between the worlds where the tower is. The one terminal that like has it's underneath one of the like the buildings that take you to the worlds.
Gotcha.
No, I haven't found any
found
PC terminals out.
Okay.
What do you? I don't even know what to call that area. It's like where the World A building, World B, World C, and the tower is. That area. Yeah, I haven't.
So have either of you found a terminal there?
No, the only thing I found was a star in a building behind the tower.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So, I mean, I've already told you now that there is one there, so I would suggest looking for it, because there's an interesting... Because I know you guys care about like the kind of like the story, the lore of what's happening around you, and like trying to figure out what's going on as you're going and completing these puzzles. And there is a bit of text in one of those, a document that you can pull up that pretty much almost at least halfway explains what Elohim is, which is interesting. So it's worth taking a look into, I'm just saying.
Elohim's a freaking cat.
So what did you say? It's underneath the building?
Somewhere, I don't know.
Perhaps.
I found another one of your QR codes painted.
I found like two of
level
yours.
4.
I played some today. Yeah, I found a couple of yours. Yeah, I took a screenshot of one of them, but yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a it's got to be a console like cross-platform kind of thing, because the only ones I ever find are very generic names. I found like dog, shepherd, cat,
sheep,
just some weird stuff. Sheep,
Samsara. Yeah.
Andrew, have you done any stars for level 4? Level 4 had the Sphinx in it.
I think I did. I don't know. I'm terrible at remembering things. I try.
I don't know if what I'm going to read is have any spoilers, so do you just want me to hold off?
If I say yes, you're going to eventually, within 2 or 3 minutes, do it anyway, so go for it. You did it last week, so let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I won't say anything.
Spoil me, Daddy.
Well, this is about the Sphinx, but I have it wrote here as it was level 4 because then my next notes are for level 5. So was there a giant Sphinx statue on level 4? Do you remember seeing that?
I believe so, yeah.
I feel like it's memorable enough that you should remember if you'd seen it.
Yeah, it's like if you walk straight through that world.
Yeah. Okay. I remember seeing a Sphinx, yeah.
Okay, so you've been in that one. So that was 4, right? Mm-hmm. That was the 4th one. Do you know if you beat that?
That's what
I think I beat it. I don't know if I got the stars in that one, though.
I remember that level specifically. I'm not fully caught up to that yet, but I'm close to you guys. But I remember that level specifically because the star in that one I had to look up in my first playthrough.
I did too.
Holy crap, I was mad, and also I was...
because I looked at it,
I don't want you to say it. I don't want you to say it.
Because there's QR codes on it.
I don't think that's the one I'm thinking of then. I thought 4 had 2 stars.
Well, There might be 2 stars in that. Yeah.
Because I think 3 might be the one with the Sphinx then. Are you talking about the one that was like directly inside of a puzzle to the right, and then you had to what'd you have to do? Once you unlock that star, you can also get the Easter egg of the sheep jumping over the fence. You haven't seen that?
No, that is one Easter egg you have on
so
me.
Many
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, Nathan?
I don't. But I haven't played the game in a while. Like I said, I'm not fully caught up to there.
in one of the uh, it might even be World 4. I can't remember. It was either 3 or 4. However, in one of them, you go as soon as you enter a puzzle, you just turn right and look behind you, and there's like a small little hallway with a blocked wall, like a blue wall that you have to use a jammer on. So after you finish that puzzle, you can get a jammer, and you got to get a laser from somewhere else. And you can open up another wall that has a star in it. But whenever you do that, you have to go left to get to the star. If you go right, it'll take you outside of the puzzle again. So you could like throw stuff out there if you need to use it or whatever. But you can also make a jump across the stairwell that takes you up to that puzzle. And if you do, you jump across and you go to the other. I would say it's pretty symmetrical when you look at the front of it. So you start over here. If you go over here, and you can see another like area you can jump down, and there's a bed. And there's nothing else in this little room. There's just a bed, and it asks if you want to use the bed. So I use the bed, and then it just has these sheep jumping over a fence like it's trying to get you to go to sleep, but they're all like electrocuted.
Oh
I
gosh.
don't know why. So they're just like jumping, and then it just gives you the option to skip it. So I just assumed that's all it did. So I just kind of skipped it, and then I woke up outside in the middle of the room again.
It answers the question. Androids dream of electric sheep.
Nice.
That's beautiful. That makes me so happy. I wasn't aware of that Easter egg.
Am I still saved in your phone as Android, Nathan?
I don't know what you're talking about. You're Andrew Miller. How long has that been?
Right.
When was that? Was that? Are you sure that was me?
I have 9 concussions. I'm probably forgetting someone. Let's think of that.
My notes: the Sphinx does have 2 stars on that.
Okay, so it
world.
must have been 3 that I did. I have not done 4 then.
So.
But you said you
uh,
remember a
anyway.
Sphinx.
I've been there. I'm saying I didn't get the stars for that. I'm sorry.
Okay. My bad. So you're in for at least.
So the 1 star on 4 you can see, but I couldn't figure out how to jump into the area where the star is. So that's where I watched the video because I couldn't figure out how to. I don't remember it because it's 2 weeks ago, but I remember there's an area you have to jump in. You can see the star, but I couldn't figure out how to get into it. So that's when I started watching the video. And then the video started messing with the Sphinx. I'm not going to tell you anything except after you do something, the guy goes back to the very first puzzle, and you can parkour off the steps on the first puzzle outside the map. And behind a wall, there is a stick of dynamite. And you can take that stick of dynamite and run back to the Sphinx with it. And there's, you know how like some games with like C4, like it has the hollow C4, like telling you to put it there? Well, there was one for the dynamite. So you put it there and it goes, "What are you doing?" And then it's like, "Shh." But it doesn't do anything. It's just a burn mark on the Sphinx. And so I was so excited. I was like, "We're gonna blow this whole thing up," because this thing's the size of the map. It's huge. And when he goes to leave, there's another Easter egg, which is amazing. It's better than the one in World A. I don't. Nathan, have you seen this one, the theater?
I'm not sure.
So when you
I think
go
I missed
back,
a lot of Easter eggs in my first playthrough.
You know the portal
What game?
that takes you from world to world? Behind it, there's a wall with the it looks like a red stamp. And it says like, well, no, it's a wall. And then it says like, use wall. So you click it and the wall comes down. And then behind that wall, it's like a red stamp and it says like, access denied. Well, if you go into the first puzzle again, you know those murals where it's like wipes away to show the QR codes? There is a hidden stamp in the flowers of that mural. And you take that and you run back to that wall, you can change it, and it says access granted. As soon as you do that, you fall like 10 stories down this shaft. Like the floor just opens up and you're like, gone. And you come down and all of a sudden you hear something playing in the background. And you walk up these steps and it's carpeted steps and you come up and it's a full-size movie theater room. And them little robots with the computer heads that we talked about last week, there's like a couple sitting throughout the seats. But you can hear them talking, you can hear them laughing, you can hear them crying. And if you run up the stairs, you can go into the projection room and start the film. And the film plays, and it's this helicopter flying through the woods, and it's like a cartoon looking, and this tank shoots a rocket out, and like here's the rocket, and here's the helicopter, boom, hits. Well, all of a sudden, one of the robots just go crying obnoxiously. And it was so terrible that I just wanted to leave the Easter egg and not wait to see what happened because it was so annoying how loud this robot was crying. But I waited and I waited and I waited, and all of a sudden, out of the rubble of the helicopter, you see this dude who's like this action hero. I have no idea who he is. Just gets up and walked away, and then the person that was crying starts clapping, and they're like, "Yeah, yeah." And that's it. Then the screen just goes to credits, and you just walk out. There's an exit door. You open it, and it's a portal. Takes you back to that world, and then you walk back in the portal to go back to your next world selection.
We're obviously not talking about the same game anymore.
It's crazy. Well, wait till the parkour one, where you had to jump off of the Sphinx's head onto the wall, onto the other wall, onto a pillar, onto another pillar, onto the roof, and when you do that, it opens a secret room.
Spoilers.
Listen, if you can do this, this would be great. Once we need to have like a black and white kind of, you know how when there's a meme, you'll have like a black and white version of like a dissolve into something whenever someone's like really sad or they're crying about something. We need to go back about approximately 10 minutes whenever I quote myself.
I know exactly
and I'm like,
what you're talking
hey,
about.
Maybe you should just say it anyways, but even though I'd rather you not spoil it, you're gonna in about 5 or 10 minutes spoil this for me anyways. So, and then whenever we get to that point in the video 10 minutes later, just show that slow black and white dissolve of me like crying, just quoting exactly what I said. Yeah, you're gonna spoil it for me anyways, even if you don't want to. And then here goes Josh.
I didn't tell you where the star is. I just told you about the Easter egg, and you don't care about the Easter eggs.
You just told me what happened, which
And the
is
Easter egg?
spoiling it. You basically just said, I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but here it is. This is what
Out
it is.
of all the Easter eggs I've told you, you said you haven't found them. You're not big into them. So I figured the Easter eggs were fine to tell. I didn't tell you where that final star was.
All right.
Because I
No,
didn't want to give that
you're right,
away.
Josh. We can move along. You're right. I'm good with that.
I'm confused now.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, Josh, have you talked about, because like you had notes of, first of all, what world have you gotten to up to this point? Because I know you didn't play this week. How far did you get last week again?
I just need to be level 7 in World B, and I'm completely done with World B.
That's insane.
I also did all of the wooden doors.
Okay, so Andrew, do we want to set a point that you guys get to for next week, or do we just want to keep rolling with it like we have? Because like, do you want to try to like get to the point where you've beaten World B level 7? Or do you
Well, here's the thing. Are you upset about the Easter eggs or not? Because you still haven't done the Easter egg from World A. So, even if you do get to World 7, because there's still more Easter eggs that I found within World B that I haven't brought up yet because they're in different levels.
Yeah, we're past that. He's just talking about...
Well, I know, but I'm talking the future because I find these Easter eggs from watching the videos.
From watching online videos?
Yeah.
You don't find these
yourself?
So you don't even find them yourself?
No.
What a bum!
Yeah.
You're terrible! Here I am. You're always making fun. Well, not always. You're making fun of me saying I play this game for 8 hours, and I play for 8 hours because I get stuck and I don't get far. And you're over here looking up walkthroughs on how to find Easter eggs. What a bum!
No, I don't look up the Easter eggs specifically.
Oh, you just You just kind of look up a puzzle to solve, and then you're like, your eyes just wander along. Oh, look at this, a little Easter egg. Let's watch this video.
Well,
Oh
the
no,
one with
my
the
finger
Sphinx is
slipped. I'm
because I
watching
couldn't
it
figure
now.
out where the star was, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just keep watching." And then he blew up the Sphinx. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep watching because, like, once he finishes the puzzle and there's still like this much of unwatched video left, obviously there's something interesting. So I just keep watching.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. To answer your
See,
question though, Nathan, I
here's
really don't care. We can just keep moving along. It's not a problem. I just when I say I have a lot of time to dedicate to a game, I do. I just usually have to dedicate a lot of time because I am not the smartest in the world, and I just bang my head against a wall until I eventually find a solution. But yeah, it doesn't bother me if you guys keep playing.
well, I mean, I'm not gonna play this week because you still have a lot to catch up. I mean, if you
Yeah.
just finish World 4 or still have to get the stars, you still
Mhm.
have 2 to 3 more levels you have to beat to
Mhm.
catch up. So, plus, if you even want to do the wooden doors, I kind of went ahead on that. And I won't say why because I don't want to give anything away anymore. But here's the difference, though, in video games. I don't play games like this at all. I
Mhm.
play first person shooters. I don't really play story mode. Like all of my desktop downloads are PUBG, trucking sim, farming sim, Escape from Tarkov, the
But
detective game. So Halo. So all of those, there's no like Easter eggs. You get a weapon and you go fight people.
are you
This is a
enjoying it?
game. Yo, I am enjoying. But my point behind this is like Nathan's beat this by himself. Okay,
Yeah, a
so he
long time ago,
experienced
but
the
yeah.
game. I'm coming from where I play just shooter games primarily and
Mhm.
simulator games. So if I get stuck, I'm not really going to sit there and be like, oh, I don't know how to get through this. I mean, last week I
I
did.
just think you're
Last
different
week,
people. I just
yeah,
think
well, and this
Andrew
just
like
goes to the
has to do it
whole,
himself, and I respect that. But also,
well, this goes back to the whole, like, our video game types. Andrew plays way more story mode
yeah,
games,
Mhm.
base games that I do. Like the Persona 5, never would have played that. I mean, I haven't played it, but I'm pretty sure that's what we're gonna end up playing. But like that wouldn't be a game on my wheel. Like I
yeah,
don't think I would have gotten Baldur's Gate if a bunch of us haven't gotten it or we're
Mhm.
thinking about it. So I just like when it comes to puzzles like these, if there's no real point where like I'm starting to figure out a little bit things, I don't have a hard time just like watching the video and finding things. Like these Easter eggs, I would have never figured it out. The whole time Andrew was talking about the one how he just found. I'm ahead of Andrew, and I did not get into that point where I accidentally found a bed. You know, so like all these Easter eggs, I'm finding because I'm watching the video and it's increasing my experience with the game that I wouldn't have had if I wasn't finding these from other people showing. And Andrew's fighting puzzles until he figures out how to do them himself. And Nathan, you've already beat this whole game by yourself. So I just think this whole our different gameplays come into the way we're tackling this game to begin with.
yes, and everybody is allowed to play this game how they want. We're not setting hard and fast
No,
rules where like,
no,
oh,
they're
you
not.
can't look crap up,
Yes, we are.
but we can still call you a bum when you do.
That's right.
But I
I
get
mean,
it.
I'm
I
sure
get where you're
Josh.
coming
I'm
from.
sure Josh wanted to do the same thing whenever we were playing Tarkov. At least for me, because he wants to. I love stealth, right? I think it's fun when I play a game that's based around stealth. But I want to be rewarded for doing that, and I don't feel like I'm rewarded when I do that when I play Tarkov. I don't feel
Yeah.
like there's a reward system. But and at the same time, if the goal is too easy to obtain, that's when I get bored. The goal to Tarkov, once you figure out how to do it once, you're done. You just, okay, you got to find another extract point, or you can find another way to get out, but it's just getting out. And whenever there's stuff to explore and things to find and reasons for it later on, for me, that's usually later on in the game for like a story for it, so that it makes sense. And this is why I found this. I had to earn this so that I could get to do this, or I could see this. And in a lot of like games like Josh likes to play, like sim games or first person shooters, you don't get that too much. You might find the occasional Easter egg in a Call of Duty game or a Battlefield game that's a nod to maybe another series, but it's nothing that you have to usually go super
Most of the
far
time
out
it
of
was
your way
in
to explore.
zombies or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and that's another thing. Like, Andrew, when you get stuck on your puzzles, quote unquote, 4 hours or whatever, that 4 hours is like 4 weeks of gameplay for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you can devote that time in one day to fight with the puzzle, but like that's the amount of time I get the game in a 4 week period. So if I get stuck
This
on a
is
puzzle,
this is the part in the podcast where everyone realizes that two of the three of us, are happily married and have a life, and one of us is lonely and single and sits in his house and does nothing.
well, Nathan still has more gameplay during the week than I do.
So,
This beautiful man is the one editing the videos every week.
Indeed.
the
Can we take a poll whether
difficulty...
you should shave or not?
We can't do that, I'm sorry. The difficulty with
Can or won't?
this... It's
I'm going to
like,
use my veto powers.
let's say Andrew decides to play Talos this week, and then he gets one world finished. Because he gets stuck. Which is possible, but do we want to have a point where we're like, you gotta speed up, because if we're doing a world and episode, it's going to be like 20 more episodes of the podcast before we finish this game. Because the puzzles are only going to get harder in general.
Mm-hmm.
They're only going to get more complicated. You're also going to become more... The whole playing the portal games, you start thinking with portals. They start to get make more sense to you rather before, let's say when you were starting out, it's like, oh, what are these mechanics? How can I use these to my advantage? You are also learning how to use all of these tools the game gives you to solve these puzzles in all these unique ways. And so you get better at the game, but the game also gets harder, so I don't really know what that ramp is of difficulty versus your skill or your experience. But I guess we just don't care and we just go however, and if you have a week where you have a bunch of levels completed, that's great, and we get a little bit more accomplished. I mean, we are kind of halfway through World 2. There's only 3 worlds in the tower and whatnot, so it's not like it's going to take forever. But I guess if you're getting stuck for hours, it almost might be worth giving in a little bit there.
Well, no, here's the thing too, though, is yes, the puzzles are becoming increasingly difficult and different, but it's also individual to the player, because I was talking to Nathan about this week. Andrew, you said you had such a hard time with the Gold Star world in A that it was hard for you. And I told Nathan, I said, I was probably one of the easiest worlds for me because things just seemed to click. But then there's puzzles where I can't figure out for the life of me. The red puzzles are so difficult for me that you don't struggle with. So even if the puzzles are still increasing, they're still going to be coming down to the individual person,
I think that there's not a game that I've played where I've gotten to the point where what's the word I'm looking for? My skill gap was detrimental to progress at a decent pace.
Okay.
It hasn't happened to my knowledge, so.
I mean, last week was just rough, but then you this week did 2 full worlds at least or something like that.
Yeah.
2.5 maybe or whatever. But so you made some progress. Josh just made so much progress last week that it was... I feel bad because now we're doing this podcast based on this game that we're all supposed to be playing, and then Josh is going 2 weeks not playing it because he got so far. I almost feel like going 2 or 3 worlds at this point should be almost a maximum where you're okay, I'm gonna chill and see where everyone else got. Almost don't get too far ahead in a way. Unless you're okay with having to lag behind later once
that still doesn't work out either, because the week that I did all that, I was texting Andrew as I was completing it, and I was like, Andrew, how far? Oh, well, I don't play till Sundays after church. I'm like, okay. I beat world level 5 in world B. He goes, okay. And then I was like, I lied. I just beat level 6 as well. And he said, LOL, okay. And then so he knew Saturday where I got. but he just
Mhm.
didn't have the time, or he got
But
stuck.
you're
So
always going to outpace him because he is putting all of his effort into making sure he is the one solving these problems or these puzzles. But if you get to a point where you're like, I don't really know what to do, you're going to look it up so you can progress. He's not going to do that. So if you're going ahead and doing a bunch of puzzles, I can expect, unless you have some extra time or really want to get into it in a week, you're probably just going to do like 1 to 3 worlds or 1 to 3 levels a week. Do you think that's fair, Andrew, or do you think you're ever going to you're going to start doing some more?
I
Like,
don't think we can base it on
it's
1 to
difficult because
3.
we all play it differently.
Yeah, because like I don't
Mhm.
mind that I haven't played it in 2 weeks. Like I don't know what my schedule is going to be next. I just played that much because at that moment in time I had the ability to get things done.
Yeah,
I may not have that much time in one day to bust out that much more, and even if I do, that's fine. I just gotta keep my notes to that episode of what
yeah,
everybody else has finished. So, like, I don't think this game has to have a deadline for how long it takes to get done, because if this game was a multiplayer game, there would be no deadline. It was just like Tarkov. How was our experience that week? How was our raids? What happened in the raids? What mechanics have you learned? Like there's no
yeah,
deadline. Like, well, you got to play 30 raids this week.
yeah. There's not
So,
really, I guess, a real deadline. It's a matter of two things. One is what we can talk about in the next episode, because if one person hasn't played, like Andrew just doesn't play this week, then we can't really talk about any progression of the episode, and we can't really talk about Talos for the episode. So, like, if we at least have something, we can talk about it a little bit. Two is simply, like, there's no real deadline. Ooh. But
well,
the
can I say something
longer
real quick?
we go, like the longer it takes to play through the game, the more episodes we dedicate to Talos and not moving on to the next game we play, which is fine. That's not a problem necessarily, as long as everyone is okay with that. Because like I'm down,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying
I'm
this.
okay with it.
I'm down to continue doing this podcast as long as you guys are. So if we do have 500 episodes of this podcast one day, we've just been consistent at it for the next few
Well,
years.
that's
That'd be awesome.
starting off. That was the point, the
Yeah.
premise behind this. Like, it
Mhm.
takes however long it takes. Like, if Tarkov was liked by everybody, there's probably a
We'd
chance
still be
that we
playing
could
it.
still be
Yeah.
talking about. I mean, because Tarkov just wiped. So much changed to the game. Arena's coming out. Like, well,
Yeah.
there's so much we could still be talking about.
Yeah, I
So,
get
like,
you.
I don't care how long. And like what you were saying is you're 1 to 3 levels. Andrew beat 3 levels this week.
Yeah.
Last week you were only finished level 1, and this week you did level 4. So like you pretty much did the 3. There just
Mhm.
wasn't a whole lot within those 3 that permitted talking about.
Yeah. So I guess if you want to try to set a goal this week, get to like beat World 6, Andrew, then we'll basically be all caught up, because I'm going to try to get some extra done and be caught up as well, and then we'll kind of be in a similar place, and Josh can continue after this too. So, yeah, that works.
Indeed. Indeed.
Indubitably.
Do baba do.
I don't know how to say that word.
Then why did you?
Indubitably.
Yeah, I just really respect that you had no idea how to say it, and then you just went for it anyway.
And I still want you to know I can't remember what I wanted to ask you.
In Minecraft. Poke,
In
poke,
Minecraft.
poke to Andrew. I guess I'm poking him over here because that's where he is on his screen.
That's where I'm at.
So I'm poking you, and move us along to the next topic.
So, why would we want to move along to the fantasy draft?
Fantasy draft!
Oh, ooh, I accidentally full screened Nathan, that beautiful mug.
Nice.
Yeah. So I completely lied to Josh earlier, so he thought he knew what we were going to do the fantasy draft on. It was an interesting topic, but I realized it's not even a fantasy draft. It
Can I
did
close
not
it
follow
out
the
then?
format.
Oof.
Sure.
Oof. So what are we doing then? What's our fantasy draft topic,
before, We can talk about it afterwards, what we were going to do if you want. But the fantasy draft it's going to be purposely a little vague because I want a lot of creativity here. But I'm thinking we need to draft the best duos in history. The best two of anything. We can talk about the best two foods that pair well, the best two drinks, the best two people, the best two ideas. The duo is the only important part here. So the best duo, two duos that you can think of. Or you can Google, because Josh is looking at a second screen trying to do that right now. You muted yourself trying to prove your point.
I'm writing notes.
Okay. So I guess this week we'll go Nathan first, Josh second. Well, I think I went first or third last time, so we'll go Nathan first, me second, Josh third.
No, it would be Nathan, me, you, me, Nathan.
But I went third last week.
No, you didn't.
I went first last week. That's right.
Yeah, because I was the fantasy draft, and it was bad.
It wasn't bad. We just didn't.
All right, Nathan.
Best duo you can think of.
Wow, this is a lot to drop on me and then say, "Hey Nathan, make your choice." Holy crap! Best duos in history. I'm gonna need a second here. My number one choice, because I only had so much time to think, but this is the first thing that came to my mind that made sense, was the biblical man Jonah, who, for those who are not aware, was swallowed by a large fish or a large whale, whatever you want to call it, but I think the Bible specifically states fish. And so Jonah and Moby Dick.
Nice.
'Cause whale.
Not the...
So are you calling... They're supposed to be pairs. They're supposed to work together.
Yeah.
So are you saying the Moby Dick story is about Jonah being swallowed?
No, I'm putting these two together because they fit.
So
are you cutting your own puzzle pieces?
Yeah, Nathan is right now trying to get me to call him a bum, and I'm going to refuse. I will convince myself that he is correct, even though with every fiber of my being he's wrong, and we can move on.
I disagree, and it hurts.
It does.
All right, my number one is Tom Brady and Gronkowski.
So that makes a little bit of sense. You know, when you say one of those names, that's something that could be filled in with the other. I can't say better because that would hurt some snowflakes' feelings, but a much different choice than what Nathan had. Oh, that's great.
Andrew?
I think that's a pretty good duo. So the first duo that comes to mind with anything, for me at least, has to be Tom and Jerry. When you say Tom, Jerry's there. When you say Jerry, Tom is there. And everyone knows what you're talking about when you say Tom and Jerry. I think that's an iconic duo. You know, when you talk cartoons, Tom and Jerry's the OG. I think that's a great duo in history is Tom and Jerry, even though they're fictional.
I didn't understand the prompt.
What?
I didn't understand the
prompt. You didn't
prompt.
get the instructions.
I thought we were putting two things together that would fit. That would
make
a good duo. That would make a good duo.
You should have just called him a bum so we could have gotten this out of the way to begin with.
I'm sticking with my answer, though. Josh, what's your second?
Name just got to give his second.
Oh, I don't even know if I want to.
Right, I forgot.
Folks,
let's see.
Trains and railroad tracks.
Yeah. So, for preface, the idea with duos is supposed to be if you... two things that have always gone together and that people expect and that it's iconic. And when you say one part of it, the other half is almost already known. So, you know, if you were going to say Jonah, a lot of people would have said the best duo is Jonah and the whale or Jonah and the big fish, because that's how the story goes, right?
Indeed.
So that's why I went with Tom and Jerry, because you think Tom, the cat, you always think of Jerry and vice versa. Let's see, a good second.
Well, you know, it kind of fits, because, like, what if every time Nathan thinks of Jonah, he thinks of Moby Dick?
We should take a poll and see what people think of when they think Jonah. Do they think Moby Dick, or do they think literally anything else?
When someone says Jonah, I kind of think of Jonah Hill. So,
So Jonah in a
Gosh.
hill. Okay, see, this is making
see that?
sense.
Oh goodness, you guys are gonna make me strangle myself.
Please don't.
And because we talked about it today, no, because that's too easy. I'm not doing that. Let's see. So I would say a good duo. This is gonna definitely be locational because there's gonna be some places that say that's disgusting. Why would you ever think of that? But for us
Ranch on
Americans,
pizza.
good. But I don't think everybody thinks ranch on pizza. I'm gonna go with a little more classic and say every American over the
Ketchup
age
on
of
eggs.
like 3. You're disgusting. Stop interrupting. Would have to be peanut butter and jelly. When
How
you
is-
think peanut butter,
How is that local?
What kind of peanut
How
butter?
is that localized? What do you mean? Doesn't everybody in the
Peanut
world?
butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time.
no. There's
Peanut
a
butter
lot of
jelly.
countries who are like, why in the world would you put those two together?
Well, they
It's
should
insane.
probably implode, and we'll take them over because that's stupid.
Are
I
they
agree.
third
I would
world
call
countries?
them bums. They might be. I mean, any country's a third world country to the best
All
country
right,
in
so
the world.
hold on. What kind of peanut butter though? Like when you say peanut butter and jelly, where does your
I will
mind go?
die on this hill. Crunchy peanut butter is better than smooth.
So you're wrong, but what brand of crunchy?
Any brand of crunchy is better than the
No.
smooth. I'm a child. Give me this peanut butter I can easily swallow.
Folks, don't listen to his opinions because it does not matter.
Yeah, coming from the guy who won't spoil things and spoils them 10 minutes later. It's your turn, spoiler man.
We need in the bottom corner spoiler warnings.
What's your next duo? Is it freaking paper and knives? What is it? Hit me.
Boris said hot dogs and cherry coke.
Never in my life have I thought hot dogs and cherry coke. Yeah, those are too swell to go together. So there's
Well,
the
hot dogs
second
and
bum of the
Cokes.
day.
Nathan, he's just mad because we're right.
Well, I'm protesting this prompt with Jupiter and Ganymede.
What?
Jupiter
And
and
with that,
Jupiter's
you guys
biggest
have a
moon.
good night. This has been the Your Mom Has Tourette's podcast. Andrew's going to implode because these guys are wrong in every way, shape, and
It's
form.
good because next week Nathan has to come up with the fantasy draft.
Do I already?
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have a good one. I'm gonna
Oh,
actually
gosh.
prepare this.
The best things to implode.
Andrew, number 1.
Andrew was number one. That was my choice, so you took it, and I'm not okay with this.
Tinfoil in the microwave.
I guess we're kind of chilling at the end here. We're done with our fantasy draft that made Andrew really mad, and I didn't understand the prompt, and Josh was just having a good time with it all. And well, I didn't start
understood
it,
the
so
assignment.
Andrew was the one who started it, and I guess he just tried to end it, but then we kept talking, so you can try to actually end it now if you want.
It's funny because I feel like Nathan is the kid who in class, they're like, all right, guys, we're going to play tag. And Nathan's the kid who raises his hand and is like, teacher, I don't know how to play tag. And he's the one. It's like, there's always one person who has a question that you're like, there's no way somebody could ask a question right now. This is so simple.
Dang,
And that's how I
Dang.
felt.
This guy's
I
called
was
me.
I was like, duos is easy to figure. Two things that go together. What are two things that go together?
I
And you're
thought
just
you
like,
were coming up with an interesting prompt.
That's why I was thinking like Moby Dick, and Andrew's like, well, yeah, that's what he thinks. I'm like, well, then I'm taking this wrong because Moby Dick has nothing to do with Jonah.
Yeah, exactly. I was waiting for the joke. Like I said that because I thought Nathan was going to be like correct himself and either say, because he said, originally in the outtake he said Noah and Moby Dick, and I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna say Noah in the Ark. That's
Well, I
pretty.
thought he was going to be like, there was a pair of Moby Dicks or something. I was like, why
Yeah,
Noah?
I was like, what? Yeah, I was so confused, and then he just went with it, and then he did it again. I was like, all right, this is where we're at. I'm confused.
I just think
I made
the
this and I'm
idea of
confused.
like duos that exist that people are aware of is just a real plebeian topic. But that's just me. Just me.
All right, so next week it's going to be Josh and Nathan because we've established this podcast that Andrew has been wrong and he's holding us back on video games we play. He comes up with plebeian topics. This is Andrew signing off from the My Mom Has Tourette podcast. Maybe you'll see me next week.
This was Franklin.
And I'm screwed.
All right, that's it. That was Josh.
Okay.
See you guys later.
Nathan, see ya. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Yep.